Yo, 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 what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. I'll give y'all a little bit of time to tune in case the notifications didn't go out. See y'all in here already. Khadijah, what's going on, baby? Sirius, what's going on, baby? First things first, you already know. Hopefully everybody's having a blessed and productive Sunday evening. Hopefully everybody had an joyous weekend as well. Whether you was with the family, dolo, or just doing something grand and great. Hopefully y'all all had a safe one. Family's intact. And y'all ready for the work week and the school week. Anita, what's going on, baby? Definitely appreciate everybody that tuned in earlier for the conversation. Short one, but a good one, nonetheless. If you missed it, you can catch the replay. So definitely appreciate everybody that tuned in, for the conversation last night. Everything was good. Tonight, topic quiz day. Topic that we need to keep discussing because, again, it really is needed. It's essentially time for, some people to waken up and wising up. Everything was good, Anita. I still got more rounds of this tomorrow, so. Miss T, what's going on, baby? Yeah, domestic violence. Something that should never be tolerated. I kind of spoke a little bit last night about people vetting out who they decide to be with or who they sign to jump the gun with. Juice, what's going on, baby? Nene, what's going on, baby? And that's on both ends, men and women. You have some men who will get with somebody thinking everything is good and come to find out everything is toxic. Shouldn't accept toxicities, fellas. If it's to a point where even your spirit don't feel right, like I told you last night, you just got to move forward, Just in case my mouth go left a little bit, you know. Fellas, if you know for a fact your lady is violent, I would say the same thing for you ladies. You know the person you with is violent, please get away from that. I don't care how hard you gotta try and get away from it. Because I'm not being funny, most of these states ain't playing again. When it comes to DVs, they not playing. Don't matter who started the confrontation, you both will be sitting in a county jail or whatever until further notice. And if there are kids involved, like I said, who's going to be watching those kids while you sit in the system? But again, it should never even get that deep. Fellas, you got a woman that's not just verbally abusive, but physically abusive, and vice versa. Ladies, the same thing with y'all. Y'all got to get up out of Dodge. Again, it is for your mental space and your inner peace. Some people, it's hard because they think they don't got nobody to turn to. But it is time to show people that you could turn to people. You can actually turn to people and actually talk to them. Again, it is about uplifting. When you don't try to help uplift the spirit, especially one that's been broken, again, that broken, shattered glass goes everywhere. And those shards will definitely rip through or pierce through good things. It should never go that far again. Fellas, sit there and tolerate a woman talking to you all types of ways, especially if you are doing what you are supposed to be doing by nature. And ladies, the same thing. If you are holding down the king of your foot and doing it to the best of your abilities, it is supposed to be a respect level at the end of the day. Carlos, what's going on, my guy? See you up in here doing that already. I appreciate you for doing that, baby. I've always felt like this regardless. Violence on any scale like that should never be accepted by nobody. And I mean that. There are some women out there who they feel that's the way they're going to be able to keep somebody. Same thing with the fellas. In my opinion, and what's always been my opinion, is that's just a weak minded tactic. You love somebody, you're going to show them more than you tell them. And you're going to definitely make sure you appreciate them more than anything. You know, because essentially, look, you took the step this far. You know, and why not enjoy what you should enjoy? You know, again, love shouldn't be physical abuse, physical pain, spiritual pain, none of that. Love is supposed to be what it is. Happiness, smiles, you know, even through the trials and tribulations. You decide to take that step forward with somebody because you feel that person has your better interest at heart, you know, and also is going to keep you high spirited regardless. And in no way, shape, or form, again, should love hurt. I shouldn't have to prove I love you by putting my hands on you. I shouldn't prove that I love you by disrespecting you on the verbal tip. Or even just by the things that I do. That's not showing love. And if at any time men or women feel like that and they, you know, they relationships, marriages, it is time to move on. BMF, what's going on, my guy? Yeah, I know BMF. I know, bro. Bronze, what's going on, my guy? And I can be honest with you. Love shouldn't feel awkward. Well, it can feel awkward if it's in the beginning stages because you know you feel a type of way. You feel a type of way because you're not really still sure if this is really what it's supposed to be, and if that person really is for you. But if a person has proven to you time and again that this is what it is, then you have to open your mind to that. Like I said earlier, communication definitely is a key. A lot of y'all are not bringing yourselves to the tables and communicating. You're only communicating on one level. Kev, what's going on, my guy? I shouldn't have to prove I love you by putting my hands on you, beating you to a pulp, or possibly killing you. Because that's not love. That's hate. That's hate. That's strong arming. It's just nasty work, which it really is. It's nasty work. Love is not supposed to be fearful. You shouldn't have to look over your back. That, again, that's not love. That's just vengeance, violence, and hate. I believe some of these issues happen because some of these people, again, were not taught, not just men, but some of these women wasn't taught neither. They wasn't taught what it really means to truly have love, respect, and genuine honesty with somebody. But it depends on their background too. It does depend on the background because if nobody's really teaching them nothing at a set age, by the time they get into adulthood, they're gonna think this is what it is. In order to keep my woman by my side, I gotta make her fear me, and vice versa. In order for me to keep this dude at his side, or me to keep him right here, I gotta show him that I mean business. Not gonna lie, because domestic violence isn't always violent, but words can be violent as well too. Don't forget that part, because you could say something that could pierce the soul of somebody, and if it's coming from a dark space, oh trust me, they'll feel it. You already know. Appreciate you, bro. A lot of times, you really just have to do some real observing. And again, no real man would ever put his hands on his queen or put his hands on somebody that he's courting. I at least never seen that. And those real men, as we see now, they still got a good, solid marriage foundation. Even if they ain't married on paper, if they common law married, if they still building with each other, kids and all of that, guess what? That says something. I could be together with you for 50 years. I don't gotta put no ring on your finger. If I've been with you this long, if I built with you, you technically, by standards, you're my queen. So that's the mindset that most people are going to be on. Have a good one, Hammer baby. I already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. And the reason why I say some DVs should just cease to exist because guess what? It leads to gun violence. How many times have we seen certain situations go from a physical altercation to a gun being involved? I would say the gun violence needs to be put to a halt, or if not, anytime somebody within the community gets harmed or hurt, especially somebody who's a young mother, young father, and they're just doing what they gotta do for theirs, and they're not really into the politics, then the people should step in. You know, again, the sense of community, that's what we need right now. We need more of that. But again, it should never be a violent sector. It should never be a violent sector in your life where you gotta be abused or abusing somebody. That's not love again. That's a false sense of love. That's basically shaking your foundation, basically. And if you know, again, you're going through violent situations within the confines of the love that you have for somebody or supposed to be having for somebody, again, you got to think what's more important. And then you get up out of Dodge. No woman should have to worry about black eyes, busted lips, broken jaws, wrist, body parts, none of that. And this is my thing again. It is time. Time for a better change. Time for a better mindset. If I'm going to be with you, prime example, I'm not going to be putting my hands on you. I barely even like to argue. That's just me. I barely like to argue. I'll walk away from you, let you argue with yourself, and then come back. You ready? I can't do that. I can communicate with you if you calm and collected. We could talk. All right, we could talk. But again, it should never get that violent. It should never turn to that. Fellas, some of y'all gonna have to start getting in control of your emotions again. Even if you thought you wasn't taught something, you have to learn something. Love shouldn't have to be sacrificial, at least on that terms. Can't sacrifice your peace of mind, your spiritual space, or your soul. You can't sacrifice that for one person. Can't sacrifice that for somebody who doesn't see you other than that. If they always gonna put their hands on you, they ain't gonna never love you. Because again, I feel the only time you should be putting your hands on each other is when it comes to making love. That's it. There shouldn't be no violence amongst each other. Why? It makes no sense to. Now there's times when y'all supposed to be able to sit down at a table and have a talk. Now, for those who don't have kids involved, sit down and have the conversation. You start building like that because now essentially, even if it's not violence involved, at some point if there's kids involved, you're not going to teach them that this is the way a relationship works. We got to be yelling and screaming at each other, fighting each other, scaring the people. Tanya, what's going on, baby? Now, for those who do got kids, I would advise y'all, if you can't get it together and you're still going to continuously be at each other's necks, y'all just try to find a way to co-parent, and that's it. Because again, you're essentially showing these kids and you're putting it embedded into their minds that this is the way love works. This is the way love is supposed to be. This is how you show the person that you love to fear you. Nah, it shouldn't be feared at all. I hear you, Miss T. And see, and that's the thing, though. You never allow that. You never allow a certain side of you to die, even if you've been abused. Because again, it speaks volumes. It's going to be hard trusting people at times, trust me. But it gets better. You do trust the right people, incorporate the right people around you, that right support system. And also just knowing, okay, I know what signs to look for. And sometimes those signs ain't going to show until you get deep into a relationship with somebody. Hey, Marie, baby. Appreciate you for the birthday love, baby. I've always felt like this again. If you've gone that deep with somebody through the thick and thin, guess what? Y'all gonna have to keep fighting through the thick and thin. But that don't mean fight each other. Again, that's not the way to work. I wouldn't care how mad I was at you. I ain't gonna see myself lifting no hand up. And I can honestly say some people that I've seen, they are really built different. They built different because despite whatever they go through, they still come out on top strong. There's been some people who've been through abuses in a relationship. They done got away from a person. They done got themselves right, took the proper time to heal, been around the right people. Shoot, even found somebody in the midst of all of that. Platty, what's going on, baby? Anne Marie, oh yeah, I told you what happened I told you the other day in the live what happened when I was in your live. Oh, I forgot. I don't know if you've seen the message. I got demonetized. Got demonetized almost 3 weeks ago, I believe. Something I wasn't supposed to be doing, apparently, but I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be doing it. But hey, it is what it is. Like I said, I go back for that in January, so I ain't worried about it. Before I blink my eyes, it'll be January already. But and that's on both angles. There are men who are broken as far as spiritually because the people that they were with were toxic and said and did some things that would drive a normal man to kill himself. You good, Anne Marie? Don't worry. Yeah, I ain't worried about it, Anita. You know that already. No, but this is my thing though. Fellas, get in control of your emotions. If you with somebody, you try to make that person your queen, your everything, or even if you seeing where things go from point A to point B, you should never have to be putting your hands on them. If you with a woman that's definitely putting their hands on you, then guess what? You need to get up out of there. Because essentially, if you know you ain't strong enough to withstand that, you're gonna end up clocking her right back. And again, they go the violent cycle again. I would tell some of you ladies too, you gotta learn to stop putting your hands on people. Because not everybody is going to be doing this. See, I talked about this a while back. And I meant this. I talked about this a while back. Some people will go into a new phase or a new stage of a relationship with somebody without properly healing the way they were supposed to heal. You have some women who they want to be with that type of man that's abusive because that's what they known to be with. That's what they are accustomed to. It's time for them to start breaking out of that cycle. Because again, your life is precious. Everybody's life is precious. And again, I believe that you are here for a purpose. You are here to just live your life, but also live your life accordingly with somebody that you feel completes you. If you don't feel any type of completion, even down to the spirit and the soul, then you're wasting your time. If you still don't know what lies around the corner, then guess what? Find out what lies around the corner, but be prepared for whatever it is too. You want true love and respect. It has to be shown both ways. And essentially, it all goes back again to the wrong people getting with the wrong people. It is time to start opening the line of communication again before you go deep into anything. If you don't know how somebody's feeling, they don't know how you feeling. How could y'all move forward with anything? That's the question.
And honestly, you can't move forward again if there's not just proper healing, but you can't move forward with anything if the communication line ain't open. It might be something that I don't know you like. It might be something I don't know that you don't like. If you're not opening your mouth and saying nothing, how would I be able to know that? You know? Exactly, Miss T. But another thing to remember too, again, just pay attention. Even if you not even if you're not always in the business, you could tell when something wrong with your child or if you're a guardian, you'll tell when something is wrong with that child. You could tell if they upbeat every time they go to school, but then they come home and they got a sad face about something. 9 out of 10, you know something happened. If it's something major, trust me. Sometimes they'll put on that little smile. Everything will be good until they get where they get into. You never know what could be going on. And even be aware and be wise in the situations that you're making. Because again, at some point, you're gonna have to meet the parents. And I would say, you young men and women out there that are dating, whether you're teens or not, you gotta always be mindful. At some point, you gonna meet the parents. But I would tell you teens too, just be wise. If you already see that a person has a problem with hands and doing stuff like that along those lines to where it's almost fearful, don't be with that person. You know, somebody that got real anger issues and aggressions and they known for violence no matter what, you don't need to be around that. Because at some point you might end up being the target. Keep yourself safe. Always felt that was the best thing to do, again, is keep yourself safe. And it should never get to a point again where there's a gun involved. Because again, you got some who are even going to that extent. Like, I'm not doing that. If it's getting to a point where the poison is starting to seep through and you having thoughts or you even having contemplations on things you ain't never think about in the first place, it is time for you to figure out what your next step is and just get away from that before you actually take the wrong steps and end up harming yourself or somebody else. The one thing again to remember on all angles, never play with people's hearts. You're not supposed to. Nobody should be used as a rag doll. Nobody should be getting used as a punching bag on any angle. Told y'all a while back, I remember one day this girl cold clocked her boyfriend. Her boyfriend gave her the only look like, if you only knew if I wasn't so reserved, I would put my hands on you. And again, I think he got the message after that day too. He kindly got away from her. And right now, she looking stupid to this day. She looking stupid because she watched something fade away. And she watched it fade away because of her actions. Again, you don't go into new relationships or anything and expect people to follow norms and behaviors. I know sometimes these topics do get triggering at times, but it's needed nonetheless. Now, again, she is kicking herself now. That man done moved on, found him something new, married and all. happier than he's ever been. And seeing this the thing, sometimes misery does love company. But in that same token, nah, you can't be with somebody that's not going to uplift themselves. They're not going to want to be uplifted. That becomes a problem. And I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, you want to be with somebody that loves you in and out, but you also want to be with somebody that's going to respect you on that level, not to put hands on you, not to do you wrong in any way, shape, or form. And I never did understand again why gun violence always ends up playing into DVs at times too. If the toxicity is that high up, it's time to get rid of it before you do something critical. Again, look how many times we done had people who were supposed to be loved and supposed to be all happy. And then when things happen, all of a sudden, as we didn't know this, we didn't know that. There's some things that are going to go under people's eyes. It's going to go under the radar. Because if they see certain things for what it is on the outside level, just looking in, they will think, okay, well, it seems like they got everything in order. Dawn, what's going on, baby? They'll think that. But if you ain't digging deep, you don't know what kind of stories lie behind. Again, it is time to stop fighting each other. It's time for more love. And love shouldn't lead me to a point of even pulling the gun out and killing you. Whether you the child of my mother or not. It shouldn't take me to that route. And vice versa. And some women who have gone off the deep end just because people don't want to be with them. Like I said again, mindful of who you vetting in. Make sure that that person you dealing with on all levels is not a stalker. We lost some good brothers and sisters behind that. People with the stalkish behavior. You that obsessed with one person. It's time for that to stop. You can't be obsessed with one person to that point. And again, the gun violence is a part of that too. I was thinking about something that happened in 2019. It's cold. Just like a lot of these stories, it's cold. Fellas, unless you necessarily have to, there's just some things you should just leave alone. And if you're going to have to revisit something, or if you feel you're going to have to visit something, then it should be a logical place that you're coming from. When there's kids involved again, they shouldn't have to worry about none of that happening. Shouldn't have to worry about mom's not looking the way she's supposed to look or daddy looking all bewildered and confused. They shouldn't have to do that. Essentially, you're going to have to set the boundaries and also set the rules that are needed. If we coming together to go this far, we shouldn't be beating on each other, disrespecting each other, or none of that. We should really be loving and caring for each other. And showing an example to the people, not just around us, but who are even coming in. Now listen, when two people actually love each other and care for each other, this is what it's supposed to look like. not the things we see now. And I would tell y'all essentially stop messing up your livelihoods. One person is not going to be able to dictate your flow in life. One person is not going to be able to push you to that limit. And if you feel you are being pushed to a limit, then it's time for you to move away before you see that and you end up actually doing something. No doubt I need a baby. I've always felt if a person doesn't necessarily deserve to die, they shouldn't die. And again, this is the sad part about gun violence. Papa Will, what's going on, my guy? This is the problem with gun violence right now. Because it's essentially affecting everybody. Like I said, a couple years ago, girl was holding her baby when she got shot. People that was around her ended up driving her to the hospital. Luckily, that baby didn't get hit. But this is why I said there's some sick, twisted, demented people you need to be aware of. And they will do stuff like that. They don't care if you with your family or none of that. I hear you, Don. But that's the way it's supposed to be. Like I said, even if you're going to have your disagreement with your significant other, alright, but it should never lead to no violence. Should never lead to a point where these kids are, being scarred. They being mentally scarred by you. Again, you can't say you love your kids and you love everything about what's going on, but you showing them ways of how love is not supposed to be. You showing them toxic love. You're not showing them genuine, kind love. You're not. And I'm not gonna lie to you. It is becoming a sick thing now. And I felt again that girl, regardless to what, shouldn't have lost her life or shouldn't have got killed. The last things you was doing was holding your child, and that was the last things you was doing. Gun violence, it triggers and it messes with everybody. It does damage a lot of families. It damages the hopes and the spirits of those who wanted to see great things from those people. He spoke about some of it last night. It is sad that some people would even come to this point of bringing the violence to events where it's supposed to be fun. Everybody's congregating. Everybody is getting away from the normal day-to-day stresses of the world. And it is sad because, again, if I'm going to a movie, I'm not expecting a movie to get shot up. I'm not expecting a bowling alley to get shot up. I'm not expecting a school to get shot up. I'm not expecting even a bank to get shot up. It's a little bit of everything. I'm not expecting a house party, a baby shower, a teenage party. I shouldn't expect none of that. I shouldn't expect to go to have fun amongst people and then I might not make it home. No doubt, Papa Will, you already. And definitely appreciate you for dropping those links. Serious, baby. Essentially, we got to come back as a community strong when it comes to that, too. You already know. Appreciate you, my guy. It is becoming a damaging thing for everybody. Bobby, what's going on, baby? And honestly, I don't condone domestic violence on any angle. I don't condone it. I don't condone gun violence on any angle because essentially those things do hurt the core of families. Again, we got families who are mourning the losses of people now because these people was in violent relationships and didn't get out in time, or they didn't open their mouth and say nothing. And that's on either end. But again, I've always essentially said, be careful of who you vetting. I don't care how much love you might have. Don't let it blind you neither. Don't ever let it blind you. Again, you're supposed to keep all eyes open. Because if at any time something does feel like it's out of pocket, it's out of wax, or if it feels like it could lead to something that dangerous, again, self-preservation. You don't have to get away from it. I could love you, but if I know you violent, I can't love you like that. I can love you from afar, but I can't have a deep love for you because again, I shouldn't have to worry about you swinging on me. I shouldn't have to worry about you cursing at me, throwing stuff at me, or even trying to come at me with a weapon. And that is something that a lot of people do, I see. I've seen some women do that to good men. Man is not going to be confrontational. You decide you want to charge at them. Or if somebody said something to you that was truth, you just don't know how to handle the truth. Toxic relationships lead to domestic violence all day, every day. Those numbers could go down if people would really sit down and open up the communication lines. Open them back up. You're going to need it. Again, self love and awareness for yourself. It'll lead you somewhere grand. Susanna, what's going on, baby? You already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. And if y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Meek, what's going on, baby? And again, I would encourage all you men and women out there that might be in violent situations, get yourselves out of them. Ladies, you know you being abused. As much as you try to stay silent, you can't stay silent for long. Strength goes by you just coming out and saying what's necessary, saying what's needed. Mo, what's going on, baby? You know, you got a lot of women that suffer in silence, but you also got men that suffer in silence. And again, it shouldn't be that way. Really shouldn't. If you love and care for somebody, you gonna have to respect everything. Respect them like they respect you. Ladies, you gotta stop being so quick to run off emotion and violence. Same thing with the men. I gotta stop that. I don't care how mad somebody made you, you still supposed to be in control of your anger. You are supposed to be in control of what you say and do. I don't know, just it's weird. It's weird because again, love shouldn't have to cost you anything. Love shouldn't cost you the heartbreak, the pain, the agony, and the sorrow. If anything, love is supposed to be steadily uplifting and continuously uplifting until the day you both close your eyes. If I'm supposed to be making this leap with you forever, then I gotta be able to trust you on all angles. Only thing I can say is that look, once there's kids involved, whatever y'all might have been going through, it's time to get counseling. It's time to get changed. Not gonna lie though, essentially we get tired of hearing these stories of people suffering in silence, even to the point of their own deaths. And the people are not aware of nothing because if they ain't saying nothing, they ain't really seeing or visualizing or just looking at things. I can tell if somebody's upset just by looking at their damn body motion. You can tell when somebody is scared, they're a little bit paranoid, just by the jitters, just by the way they move. You can tell. One thing I am going to say about gun violence, though, gun violence, it essentially stuntens the growth of those future people. One thing I'm going to say again, too, is that it should never be gunplay anywhere when you know it's supposed to be safe, sound, and happy. It's not supposed to be that way at all. Shouldn't have to worry about sitting in the neighborhood park with your kids and possibly having to leave out because they want to start shooting and acting a fool. Shouldn't have to worry about you having outside event and then could be in the middle of a crossfire because again, people are too emotional. They quick to go to that gun. Again, it should never have to go that far. A lot of y'all killing each other over stupidity. You're killing yourselves over neighborhoods and blocks that you don't own. Killing yourself by not really being wise to what you're doing, what you're getting yourself into. And you're killing yourself trying to quote unquote make the American dream. But in that same token, you're not really getting no dream. You're not. Your dream is being deferred because you're deciding this is the way you want to move in your life. So essentially, you can't get mad when things don't fall in the right direction for you. Gun violence shouldn't be accepted on any level in any neighborhood because essentially these people end up continuous, they continuously do the same thing. They continuously end up hurting and harming people. And I say essentially we're gonna have to start really raising our voices and fighting back because again, how can you tell me that a small group of people could tarnish or even destroy or even get a lot of people in fear? That's why I said the numbers always gotta be strong and connected. I got an issue with you. I know it shouldn't have to reach for no gun. Brother, we done had our fallout as far as a fight or argument. I'm not going that far with you. Even if we had words back and forth, I'm not going that far again. Because essentially my freedom is more important than a momentary argument that could be discussed with a conversation. And some people will put the battery in somebody's pack. No doubt, BMF. Some people will put the battery in people's backs to cause these actions to happen. Yeah, son, he disrespected you, son. You gonna have to kill him, son. You gonna have to do this. If nobody's in your ear, that's something that you hearing already, or that's what you feeling. But guess what? That's not the way to feel. I had a disrespectful person. Okay, let you be as disrespectful as you want to. As long as you ain't crossing boundaries you ain't supposed to cross. I could care less. Because again, words do bounce off some people. But essentially, again, you want to value your life, and you want to value the life around the people. No kid should have to worry about dying because of your plain anger and your ignorance. It's the reason why there's a lot of unhappy homes now, broken homes now. Some of it is because of gun violence. I would expect that some of you youngins that are bringing kids into the world, guess what? What's going on? What's going on? But again, I would expect you to make a better decision in your life anyway. Didi, what's going on, you shadow baby? But again, I would expect you to have a better outlook in life. For real. And again, that should be the last thing on anybody's mind. I gotta kill this person. No. Listen, I've had my ups and downs in life. I've had situations where I felt like I could have did the unthinkable. No, why I didn't do the unthinkable? It's not just because of myself. I thought about the people that could possibly be harmed behind all of that. Because again, essentially, you are messing up those strong families. You are messing up good friendships. You're messing up a lot of everything. When somebody ends up getting killed over some nonsense, especially with somebody that's really loved and cared for, that hurts on many angles. The problem in certain situations is, again, essentially comes down to people not standing up for what's right. Now, you have some people who have lost kids, nieces, nephews, just lost good family, period. And some of them have done what was necessary. Start doing initiatives, start campaigning. Some people are even going around as far as walking in their communities, making sure that there is no real possible threats going on. Even some of the street cats still go by that old mind frame. We not allowing the wrong things to mess up our communities. Now, see, I'll be honest with you, the streets is always going to be the streets. We know this. But when street stuff spills into the neighborhoods or spills into the homes of people who are regular 9 to 5ers, good citizens, hardworking citizens, that's where the problem is. But again, you're gonna have those who are adamant on making sure that these type of atrocities don't happen. If any time a bullet hits a kid, teenager, young adult, elder, mentally challenged, physically challenged, and it does damage, that's a big problem. Because again, some street stuff is always going to get left in the streets. But there's things that are not street at all about innocents losing their lives. Again, stop being so quick to just pick up a gun. Use your brain for once. If you can use your brains for other things, you should be able to use your brain when it comes to critical moments again, critical thinking moments. You could kill somebody, but how long do you really think you're going to essentially get away with it? And in the long run, guess what? That blood is still going to be on your hands regardless. You will probably still end up seeing that person every night or every morning that you wake up. You could be in cold sweats, hot sweats, all of that. Because essentially you are reliving what you did and you know spiritually and mentally it was wrong. I can use G Dep for a prime example, the rapper. Now, some people would say, oh, he's stupid. He should have just kept his mouth shut. He wouldn't have been locked up. You can't tell that man what to say and how to feel, especially when it's eating at a man's conscience. I did something as a young kid. Even though I was defending myself, nonetheless, I still took a life. I didn't say nothing about it. I kept it under wraps. And I kept it under wraps to a point of even after I done got into a rap career, whatever, it still haunted me and ate me. So yeah, I'm going to turn myself in at some point. Commander, what's going on, baby? Moot moot. And like again, you had some people saying, "Yo, you stupid. He should have never opened his mouth. He should have just stayed. He should have just took that to his grave." There's some things you're not going to be able to take to your grave. As much as you want to, you're not going to be able to take that to your grave. And for all you know, he probably was being haunted and tormented every night since then. Even if it went as a cold case, which essentially it did. If he wouldn't have opened his mouth, that case probably still would have been unsolved. But then again, at some point, it doesn't matter when or what time, you will end up being truthful on some things that you need to be truthful on. And for all you know, he got a clearer conscience now because he done came out, he done told his truth, and he took his consequences and his punishments like a man. Essentially, that's what you are supposed to do. When you've gone that far to a point of no return, you should just accept your fate. You done killed somebody, guess what? Essentially, you're going to have to reap what you sow, basically. And if you don't get caught by the law, remember, there's still law of the land. You're going to still have people that's looking for you. Because you're going to have people that, again, once they realize what happened and they see what happened, they going to want blood. You're not going to come in here and take the life of one of mine and think that there is going to be no consequences to that. Oh, no. You're going to have people who really ride or die for their family. So essentially, you need to be more wiser in what you do. You have to be. And honestly, again, do you want to be looking over your shoulder when you necessarily shouldn't have to?
You want to risk your freedom when you could be trying to do something better and even move better in life and even bring some grand opportunities for those following you? That is a question that should be asked. I don't care how mad I am with you. I'm not going to never have to pull out no gun on you. I'm not even going to have to take your life. And if I did take your life, it would be by these bare hands alone. But that's if it was needed. It won't be because I can't get in control of my emotions. You said and did something that I feel was disrespectful. All right. Hey, it is what it is. I handle it my way. But guess what? I'm going to handle it my way. And both people are going to still be going home to their families. So essentially, gun violence will always be an underlying issue and an overlying issue for some. Because again, people are losing their lives at a rapid pace, and for what? Even the ones who are not, like I said, involved in street politics are losing their lives. And essentially, when does the violence stop? When do some of y'all say, you know what? We should be getting tired of killing each other. We should be tired of we trying to eliminate each other, but we eliminating people that not even a part of the issue. Like I said, how many more innocents gotta die before y'all realize that again, your guns don't always settle and solve a problem. If anything, it creates more problems. Because let's say if you do end up hitting your target dies. If you ain't built spiritually on any angle, if you're not prepared for the outcomes and the consequences, again, it will surely mess with you. It will kill your spirit. And again, essentially, you let yourself down. You're going down the wrong path again. It's going to eat you alive to know that you did something you didn't necessarily have to do at all. 1 second. Letitia, what's going on, baby? Give me 1 second, y'all. My phone acting stupid. Lost reception for a minute. Yeah, it's starting to rain. A little bit harder than usual. But again, essentially, what's more important? Your freedom or you looking over your shoulders for the rest of your life? Or you just having a messed up spirit for the rest of your life? Again, some people would claim that this person was stupid for opening their mouths and basically telling on themselves about a murder they committed. But I find that a strength of character and a testament of will that as much as I tried to, mask something and get away from it, can't get away from it. Because again, some people who have committed these crimes, they've said themselves, once they've done what they've done, the only thing they could see was the person that they killed. And imagine that fucks with you. That fucks with you on all angles. Could you imagine waking up every night or waking up in the middle of your sleep and that's the first thing you hearing? Or that's the first thing you seeing is the person that you killed? Nah, you ain't gonna be able to live with that at all. There's some who will do things because their soul was already gone. See, soulless people don't care. But you got people who do have still a consciousness and a level of decency. And you can say what you want to say. But again, I still find that strong to even do something like that. Because again, you're going to have people who families are going to be still mourning and hurt because they have not gotten any type of justice, closure, or anything. So again, essentially your gun violence, your way of doing things, it causes a path of destruction. And that destruction will take toll on you one way or another. Again, when these families need closure, that's when it should be your duty to help them get the closure. Again, no child should have to worry about losing their life because of a stray bullet. No mother, no father should lose their life while they with their kids, children, family, whatever. And again, a lot of the gun violence needs to stay out in the West as far as keep that shit somewhere away from other people. You want to have your own gun duels and gun battles, hey, make sure there's no loss of life as far as there's no loss of innocent life. Shouldn't have to worry about bullets going through your window, through your car window, piercing things. You shouldn't have to worry about ducking every time. That's not the way to live life. I've always felt the gun should be used in case we are really going to war with opposition that are trying to kill us, no matter who the opposition is. It shouldn't be used on each other just because we don't like each other. We got a disagreement with each other. And half of the times the disagreements don't even be that don't be that real. The disagreements, again, it could be small and monetary, but if you got the wrong people throwing a battery in, it's the worst thing. Really is the worst thing. And a lot of this gun violence too, to a degree, has been has been triggered and played by people. Yeah, son, he disrespected you, son. You gonna let that nigga do this? Yo, you gonna let that bitch do this? Instead of y'all having your own mindset, you letting everybody think for you. That's one thing you can't have. Can't have somebody always thinking for you. Keith, what's going on, my guy? And pardon the wind in the background. It is trying to fake drizzle out here again. But again, essentially, you gotta think for yourself. You're not a bigger man or a woman by thinking just because you got a gun in your possession that you have the power. Because now, essentially, what happens if you're in a situation where you're not the only one that has a gun? Come on. Or if you one of those that's always, living by the gun, just imagine when you decide you don't got the gun and you get into a real crazy situation. Now you basically, how they say, you got caught lacking out there. Not gonna be able to do nothing without it. You're not. Some people get too trigger happy. Y'all get too happy, period, because you think, yeah, I got the power. I dare somebody fuck with me. I'm going to definitely shoot them today. Shouldn't be that way. You got a false sense of strength by having a gun in your hand. The gun should really, again, be your last option. If your options of regular talking and even your squabbles have come to a point where shit's going to be the continuous thing, and hey, let y'all have y'all battles. But in the same token, those guns should never play into anything. Really should. Not gonna lie to you though. Um, Again, I've been at my moments when I could have done something. I could have done a few things, but I didn't do it. Not just again because of my own self worth, and not just because I didn't want to destroy my family. I didn't want to destroy the families of those who really loved me. I didn't want to destroy their livelihoods. I didn't want to destroy their mindsets. And essentially, it probably would have broke me down too. Like I said, if you think gun violence or if you think using the guns is always going to be your niche, it won't. If you think that's going to be your equalizer on problems, it's not. Like I said, the most it's going to do is cause more problems. You're opening up a can of worms that you're not prepared for. So it is really time to essentially start using your minds. Stop thinking the gun is always the best way to handle things. Get back to the fighting. I would even say it down to the people who are on the streets. You know, if it ain't that crucial to where you have to take somebody out, don't take them out. Let y'all fight. Let y'all have y'all disagreements, whatever. But again, essentially, a lot of y'all are losing your lives again because you're fighting over areas that you don't own, fighting over blocks that you don't own. You even fighting for people who you know for a fact if something happens, they ain't gonna really ride for you and fight for you. Like, what's the sense of riding with people? Prime example, if they ain't gonna really ride for you. Why put your life on the line for somebody that wouldn't do it for you? And then real friends ain't gonna allow you to go crash out anyway. Always said that part and I meant it. Real friends will definitely do what's necessary. That's one thing we gotta break ourselves out of. And essentially it is mind control. Some of y'all definitely glorifying movies and shows and just glorifying the things that you see out here in general. And honestly, it ain't the thing. It's not the thing at all. And you know what? Essentially, you end up messing up a balance for somebody. I've always said this too. If you know for a fact you ain't gonna be using no weapon on nobody, you shouldn't even pull it out on them. Now, if you're gonna give somebody a warning, you're gonna give somebody a warning. But again, you're not gonna pull nothing out on them. I've seen people let it be known, like, look, I'm cool, but don't get it twisted. They ain't had to do much. They ain't had to pull it out on you, pull it in your face, none of that. Just a share reminder that, yeah, you ain't the only one holding. You know, and that's it. You know, we tired of seeing families suffer. We tired of seeing families bury loved ones before time. And some of the gun violence again can be stopped if we sit down and have a great talk with people. You know, word, what's going on, my guy? Drop the link again in case anybody want to chime in. My phone acting a little eerie right now, but not gonna lie to you. If we come together and essentially come to a table and find out what the real issues are, what are the underlying issues, and how we could get around all of that, there won't be no need for no gunplay. But again, I've always said this too. You know, that type of gunplay where people are getting hurt, it leaves a foul taste in your mouth. Could you imagine you supposed to be shooting your enemy, right? Even though we feel it shouldn't be no shooting at all. But imagine you quote unquote going to shoot your enemy or your enemies and miss every last one of them targets, but end up hitting somebody innocent in the in the same token. How you gonna feel about that? Look how many mothers, whether they was young or old, look how many aunts, sisters, brothers, uncles, grandfathers, grandmothers lost their lives senselessly because people don't know how to aim and they definitely just don't know how to just get back to the fighting spirit. Before the weapons, what the fuck was we doing? Fighting. Seriously, what was we doing? Fighting. And again, some of y'all gotta come to terms. Stop killing each other over blocks, over neighborhoods, over establishments that you don't own, will never probably own, or don't have no thoughts of owning. See, and this is a part of that generational curse. Yeah, they're generational curses. Some people might not see it, but we see it. That generational curse of I'm essentially killing myself for what? For nothing? Nah, that's a curse right there. The biggest curse in the world. Again, it is time to start uplifting a better standpoint of things. Oh, what? My fault, y'all. Y'all already know I'm at work, so y'all already know what it is. Y'all always hear some shit. But again, start coming to the table. I would encourage that to anybody. I don't care if you're a gang member. I don't care if you're just part of street activity, any activity. Start coming to the table and start hashing out your differences the way it's supposed to be hashed out. If you can't have a talk and a conversation, then throw them hands. May the best man or the best woman win. Win, lose, or draw, you are supposed to still go home to your family regardless. And that's something that people are not taking into consideration. I wouldn't care if I won, lost, or draw in any type of fight I've been in. I'm still going home to my family. I'm still going home to the people that love and care for me. And I would make sure that's the same way too. Because again, you don't know how much damage you're creating by creating these type of dangerous situations. Not gonna lie to you though, young men and women out there, Stop getting yourselves killed for the wrong reasons. Stop getting yourselves killed, period. I'm talking about the ones that are moving in a certain way. Stop putting yourself in positions to where you could be losing your life on all angles. Stop putting yourselves in situations with abusive people and make sure those people ain't going to that depths of violence. Because once a gun comes into play, that's it. Again, loving and caring for yourself the best way. The best way for a lot of y'all men and women to care for yourselves and love yourselves, just observe everything for what it is. And I would also say this too, it's time for the community again to start being more at arms. Nobody should ever feel comfortable with stray bullets or feel comfortable with any type of bullets hitting innocent people. If I know you're not in the streets like that, I'm gonna make sure you don't get hit. I love the way the old community was because again, there was standards. There was definitely standards that was upheld. Nah. If we know women and children sitting around, get them up out of here. Even if something had to go down, get them up out of here. Wait till these old folks get up out of here. Don't even do nothing. Or go elsewhere and do your due. That was the respect level there. And even in those instances, you didn't have to worry about too many innocents getting hurt. It's time to get back to that. It really is, though. Again, bringing something to the forefront that's needed. And I would say everybody in the community should have enough love for themselves, too, to not allow things to keep happening. Again, knowing when to insert yourself and when not to. Mostly just want to bring this out tonight because, again, these type of violences are killing homes now. They are killing everybody's spirit. Domestic violence definitely killing spirits of people because you have people who are dying from domestic violence. It's time to raise the bar better. That's essentially what needs to happen. Raising the bar, raising the standards better. Right? The more we overlook and the more we just keep allowing things to surface, we don't get a hold of it now. It'll be far too late. But hopefully, this message does get out and get clear to people. Those are the two type of violent situations that are damaging homes now. Look at the people who are never coming home because they went to go have a good time and couldn't enjoy themselves because of senseless violence. Rather the person was under duress, rather the person suffered from mental health or whatever. Or because somebody was just that emotional, couldn't get in control of their emotions. And this is how they decide to move. We should raise the bar higher. And I feel these talks will definitely help. And I wasn't going to keep y'all all night tonight neither. I'll be back tomorrow definitely. I might be celebrating early. And I appreciate again everybody who's been a part of this growth, who's been a part of this chapter in my life. Mostly everybody that's here and still here. Even the ones that's in the shadows, even the ones that do catch the replays. I know some of them don't leave no comments. I just know who's watching. But nonetheless, monumental moment for us. You know, again, it shows that people will come, build something, grow something, and you know, we bring in awareness where it's needed. We are also bringing back strength and character. We need that. It's time for the gun violence to stop. It's time for the domestic violence to stop. It's time for these families to stop suffering. And it's time for the people to stop moving in silence. We can't be silent no more about that. And again, I would encourage any of you men and women out there, whether you're going through domestic abuse or suffering from anything violent wise, don't let it shape shift your course of the world. Again, it's time for everybody to start bringing awareness when it's needed. Start intervening when it's needed. No man nor woman should have to do anything as far as proving love to somebody. That's not the way to do it. Gun violence will always leave and rupture something good within the family structure. Always remember that too. But let me get up out of here for my phone die. I'll see y'all running around these streets. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. For everybody that was in attendance tonight, y'all already know that love is love and it'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm going to do is give you real topics and real bills. And I'll see y'all running around these streets. Let me get up off this phone. Definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in. And I'll be back in the morning for that good old birthday cypher. So y'all already know what it is. Y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. Until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.